So my name is Christelle. I'm the director of Exportia, and we provide an outsourced European sales and marketing department for Australian businesses. Our number one priority is to generate their first €1,000,000 of sales for our client. I created the business when I migrated from France in 2006, and 12 years down the track, we've now taken dozens of Australian businesses to the European market and generated multi-million euros for those small businesses. We specialized in high-tech sectors, so that ranges from manufacturing, advanced manufacturing, to IT software, to biotech, medical devices. So a lot of what we do is in B2B. And when I came across the KPI program, that was really accidental. It was next door to my house kind of thing. So I was, at the time, having very good results for my client, building an excellent track record for the business. But I was hitting a revenue ceiling. I couldn't really break that ceiling for 1 year or two, and I started to be a bit frustrated, and I thought, okay, I need to find a way to break that revenue ceiling. We're not generating inbound leads. And as a salesperson, I would always do a lot of cold calling, and I still do it from time to time, as you should. But the reality is, you also want to have some start to generate some leads, inbound leads in your business to grow it. So I joined the KPI program, and as I sat in the brand accelerator, a few things resonated with me. I had only published probably one article, a blog article in 5 years, and I was like, okay, yes, publishing might be a good idea. I also listened about the part about partnership, and it had never worked for me, partnerships in the past. So I was like, okay, maybe that's something as well I'm not doing, and I should. So a few more things, and then I thought, okay, I'm signing up. So I was really quickly on board, I have to say. Really shortly after the KPI program, so my book became an Amazon bestseller. I also was interviewed by Switzer on Sky News. I did the full KPI exercise with 100 partners, like a schoolgirl doing her homework. I just contacted all those partners, and then I started to build key partnerships with corporates that were really targeting the same target market as mine. And what was also a very interesting piece was the product part. The product part, the KPI program enabled me to articulate my method, and which I really hadn't really done in the past. So I did articulate my method around 7 export pillars that we always use when we work with our clients. And that really helped me. When you combine all of that, I started to generate inbound leads. And that was really new for me and really refreshing. And at the end of the program, we generated as well 75% of instant revenue increase, just because with my existing client, I was also more able to explain, or better able to explain to them what we are doing with that method, and showing them what we're doing for them. And also for approaching prospect, it gave me a higher conversion rate. So that was an instant result from that. And a few years down the track, so that was all nice. I had a nice revenue increase and growth, nice profit growth. And now it's time to scale. And that's what I've been looking at, and I've been implementing a lot of things. Joining the 24 Assets program, for me, every time I'm hitting a ceiling or I see that there's some resistance, I try to find solutions. And for me, joining the 24 Asset was very powerful. I did implement a number of things, and we're going to cover them in the second part of the presentation. But basically, I built an export readiness diagnostic tool, which for me is a very powerful qualifier of my audience. We have a very niche target. It's from 10 to 50 million Australian dollars businesses that we're targeting. They need to be solid enough to be able to go to the European market at the fast pace that we want them to go. And therefore, building that export readiness diagnostic tool was so powerful, because I used to sit down with them, ask them questions, collect the information, report back, correct the comma in the report because I didn't quite like it, and then spend 1 day and a half per client. Now it's all automated. It's consistent, the quality is consistent, they get a lot of value out of it. They get best practices, they get a tailored advice to them, but also for me it's 15 minutes. I sit, I look at their report and I know straight away, are they ready, are they not, and if they're not, what they should do. So that's a huge implementation that was great as well. As Kevin, I also have an automated free tutorial, which is an automated series of email. So for me, it's really about, and I have it on my computer up there, it's automate and delegate. So whatever I can automate, I will want to automate it, and I'm using technology to do that. Otherwise, I'm building the processes to be able to delegate. So that's my big project, and I can already see some amazing results. The third thing that really changed my business with the 24 asset is we went to Melbourne on one of the site visits to Tristan White's business. He's built a very nice culture in his business. So basically he's defined and is displaying and communicating the business values from the day he puts the ad to recruit somebody to the evaluation, performance evaluation, to in between the interview process, and he's recruiting and evaluating his staff around the values. And when I looked at that and I thought, okay, I've been trying to build a team. I have a few constraints, because for me, I need multilingual people. I need a minimum of French, German, and English speaker as a base, but it's not enough. I need the right people that fit my culture, the culture of the business, and that fit with our clients as well. And building those core values and as part of the 24 assets has been so helpful in securing really great talents. And for me, it's been really game changing. So that's why today I said that my best moment of the week was to see them, both of them, my new 2 team members working together and solving problems and building systems themselves. So thank you so much for that. And thank you for having me. I would like to now share some of the things that we've done, and I think Glenn wanted me to and Sami as well, to go a bit deep in that export readiness diagnostic. So I'll take you through that. But just on the ascending transaction model, so that's just how we position ourselves. The free gifts we have, so the book, of course, you all know that now, that this is a very powerful tool. By the time you implement your partnerships, you've got nice products, and you've got a book, then you have people calling you and say, my accountant gave me your book, and when I went to the government to start that program, they also recommended you, and they're really warm and ready to be signed up. That's what the free tutorial looks like. So we have there our 7 pillar and methodology, and each week the prospects will, once they have signed up, they will receive an email outlining one aspect of the pillar in a video, and they will also get a piece of content. And then they've got also buy the book and take the test. The other third thing that people can freely get is those tools that we use to help our clients export. So we help them to profile the ideal distributors in Europe, and we also help them to choose the right European country for their business. So all those tools are also available online against their signatures. So we've built all of that over the years. Now, just to show you the changes as well as you grow in your business, that's what I had out of the KPI program. So that's my 7 pillars that you see. I had kind of a start of a process around there. And I feel like I'm giving you the weather right now. And so that was the start, basically 7 Ps. That was the basis of the methodology. And then it moved to that. Basically, I found that when I explained during presentations the 7 pillars, people were like, yeah, what is that going to do for me? Is that going to do anything? Am I going to generate any sales in Europe? Am I going to get any clients? So that's actually become, it is the underlying basis of our method, but now what we show them is the stage process. And at each step of the process, we do actually use those 7 pillars. That's the frame for the methodology. So now we have that as a first port and entry to work with us. We have the export readiness diagnostic, which is available for free online on our website. Then we have a market validation, which is, do you have a potential in Europe? Can we create leads for you? Which country you should focus on? So it's really hands-on. Again, I found that clients that wanted to work with us, if we just didn't give them already a bite of what the client feedback will be, who they will be, and are they interested, we didn't get the traction. So that's why we've changed into the market validation, then the leads generation phase, and then the scaling phase. So scaling to multiple distributors, scaling to recruiting locally, scaling to multi-country. So that's how we take them from 0 to multi-million. And 1 million first and multi-million. That's working way better in the flow. So we start with something, and I started with something with the KPI program, and then moved on to explaining exactly how we do things with that. And then I also give some insight with some customer figures on there, which I've removed there, but basically to explain this is what we do, basically showing them the growth we produce for our clients, at which stage do we appoint distributors, the different countries. So that shows, and some of the anchor clients that we are able to secure for them in the European market. So that's between that and the arch, which looks very conceptual, I can see the shift in response and in conversion with our clients. So that's pretty powerful. The other thing that I was going to talk to you about was that export readiness diagnostic tool. So what happened with that is, as I said before, we would used to sit down with the client, ask them, what's your revenue, and ask him a whole lot of questions. And we would have about 100 questions, and then take the report back home and then split the report to them. We charge a small fee to them. And what we found is they got a diagnostic, with some advice, and they paid $360 at the time, I think. So they get that, and then they're like, yes, okay, but where are the sales? Basically, we want to go to Europe, we want the sales. So I was like, okay, I need to make that seamless and for free, because people really want what's next. So they want to get over that stage as quickly as possible. So what I did is in a simple universal Excel spreadsheet, I just put my questions, the possible answers, and because we had done that formula for a year with a number of clients, I had already a number of reports I had delivered with that methodology. So a set of questions for each pillar that I would always ask, and then the set of response that the client gave us, and what did that meant. So then I kind of sat down, collected my reports, and said, okay, these are the questions. I might reduce a few of them. There's a bit of repetition there. here are the type of responses that people give, and this is what it means. And then I added some best practices, which are always the same for each of the 7 pillars. And then that's how I built my model on Excel. And having done that, then I thought, okay, I wanted it to look really nice. So I engaged a web designer to actually build the tool and make it look very nice. So that means that the client is going, and you can go on my website and do it. You'll see how it's laid out.
But you will get a call.
If you're above 10 million. Basically what happened is you will get, the report is tailored, it's free, it's within a second. So now I can go from delivering one report at a time to one person to delivering as many as I want, and then I can do my selection. So that's been extremely powerful. We're refining that tool regularly. So if you do it now, it might look a bit different the next. But it's so powerful. I mean, taking all that time off from me is really a blessing. So that was one of the exciting things. So that's how currently the report looks like. So you have your score, and then you have your best practices. You have your red light, your green lights, and then you have your action list at the end, where it tells you, okay, you should do this and do that.
Christelle, just very quickly,
yes.
Do you mind sharing what you use to power this? So that from the front end, like what's sitting in the back end that then creates the report?
I think so. There's an admin platform. I think it's just on WordPress.
It's John Holbert?
It's John, yeah. It's WordPress, so it's quite simple. I get all their answers on an admin, yes, panel, and then I get, yes.
Seeing their cues, giving them the scores, and then it just outputs.
Because I have prepared all of that. I have mapped it out. Yeah. Yes?
Yeah, that's cool.
So the next one, I think for me, that was the discussion we had before about securing talents. The difficulty is always to get the people with the right skills, but then also to fit in your business. And that was my big realization. I would always go for the skills, multilingual, sales background, business development, dealt with multinational, but then I didn't really connect it to my business, what the business culture is and what type of people do I want to recruit. And so I had quite a fast turnover, lovely people, but not right for my business. So I've spelled out some of the core principles that we have at Exportia, so value diversity, accountability, honesty, caring for client success and for others' success in the team, being curious, because we come from industries. I mean, our clients manufacture respiratory protection device to biotech, to project management software tools. So you have to be curious. Can-do attitude. It takes a lot of perseverance to take certain technology to the European market. So you have to find solutions and be professional. So that's some of the values. And then in the actual ad, this is what we've asked the applicants. We asked them, okay, how do you think that you are going to you meet those values, or which of those values resonate the best to you? And then what we've done, and that was totally inspired from what you guys have done at Dent. I've done a position description really spelling out those values and what does that mean to work at Exportia on a day-to-day basis. So you have the polished business agreement, contract, but then this is a real life. So I use the language we use. The reality of working at Exportia is we work in multi-time zone. It might be night times. You have different types of industry, different types of people. So the truth. And then, so I was lucky enough to recruit with that system and attract really, really, really nice talents. And so it's been working very well. So I would really recommend you to do that if you haven't done it before. So that's really powerful, I find. That's it. If you have questions.
How have you found, once people have like engaged in the actual scorecard, how have you found their engagement with you after that? Like,
yeah. So far what I found is so by the time they are in the scorecard, sometimes they've also received the series, the 7 pillar series. So they're quite open and they start to talk my language. So they start to talk, oh, well, we haven't really done well with distributors, or maybe what we should do is this. So they're kind of more open to help, as opposed to, she's trying to sell me something, go away. It's more, I'm here, I know. People think that what it brings is that it builds a credibility. They know what you're talking about, and also they can, on their own time, reflect on it, and then they talk to you. So it's kind of laid back, I should say, the approach. So they've really warmed up by the time they've done the diagnostic tool. Yeah.
So what's your process in finding those businesses, $10
Yes.
plus,
Yep.
to get them to have a conversation, do the diagnostic?
Yep. So basically, at the moment, because we are going to advertise it on LinkedIn and probably Facebook as well. At the moment, what we're doing to create the inbound leads is we do a lot of partnerships where we deliver, and it's very old school. It is, we have partners that have the same target market. They can be government partners, or they can be a bank, or they can be an accounting firm, but they have the same target market as mine. And then we co-host a luncheon, for example. And so we have a small audience of engaged people that are here to talk about international business. They have the right size and they have the right profile. And that has been quite powerful for us to do that. After that, you have also, partners referring, partners giving away one of my book. That is also quite powerful. And some affiliation that we have with government bodies as well. That works. Once you join the dots, I mean, once a prospect has been recommended to you by 2 people, and then I usually send them a book, and then they talk to one of our clients, they're fully converted.
Do you feel that that referral network is starting to sort of wear a bit thin, and that's why you're looking to do more LinkedIn?
Yes.
To broaden that reach?
Yes, exactly. So now that I've moved myself away, I'm moving myself away from the actual delivery, because actual delivery in my world is flying every month for the last 2 years to Europe. So I'm removing myself from that, still doing the strategic consultation with my clients, and then building the team to be able to deliver. And then the next time is for me to put more power into the marketing, which is exactly that. Why we're doing that.
And how many businesses do what you do in Australia? How many competitors would you say you had that offer something similar?
Yeah, so usually they don't offer something similar. They offer something broader. Or they would advertise as targeting the whole world, having capacity to target the whole world.
So would that be like a KPMG or a...
Yeah, so you have from the sole operator to the KPMG. So it's very broad. And then you have, it's very, the majority of the companies are more focusing on attracting importers. Yeah. At the beginning of my business, people would say, what do you import? I don't import, I export. But Australians are really used to, so that's a big trend, but we're doing the opposite. So I have a few less competitors, but it's attracting a lot of attention.
Do you also find Do you also find the opportunities within Europe and then bring them back and find businesses within Australia?
Yes, so I have done that always a little bit, because I was a French trade advisor by the French government, and so I am quite visible in those spheres. So I get some inquiries from French companies coming into the European market, and also German companies. But really, that's not it doesn't rock my boat, as you guys say. Yeah. So I've actually cut that type of activity for the moment, for the time being. I did end a few contracts, focusing on exactly what I want to do.
Christelle, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Around your team, I've heard you mention it a few times that
Yes.
you don't want to give up the things that you really love. You can delegate them. Now that you have that team, how are you handling that process of delegating the things that maybe you should be letting go of, so
Yes.
you can do more high value?
Yeah. So I'm totally brainwashed by 24 Assets, by the way. So I'm creating the asset. So that's what I'm doing. I'm creating assets. So I'm creating systems, procedures. Currently, I'm building a full internet with the Exportia systems. I'm also building a multilingual customer service platform as well for my team to use, and also using a lot of automation in the way we handle projects. So I'm doing the three things at the same time, but that's what comes next, and that's what allows me to delegate more. But also the first piece was to get the right people to do that, because my clients, I have them for a long time. Some of my clients, this year it's going to be 10 years. They've been dealing with me for a long time. So for them to trust that person, you really have to have a nice caliber, and it took me a while. But now the great thing is also, because I have the system, even if that person was to go, I'm not worried. I know exactly where and how to find those people. So,
is it possible for you to license those systems as well in the future?
It's possible in the future, yes. I have already been approached about some agencies that ask me, could we use a system, can you customize it for us?
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's going to say, so as of now, for someone to do the scorecard, you have to send it to them?
No, it's all automated. They receive it by email.
How are you advertising it?
Sorry?
How are you advertising it?
At the moment, I'm not advertising it. And I am going to advertise it as of 1st of July. We're doing a hard launch. I'm launching it on an industry magazine that is coming out in August, so I'm doing a launch. And then we'll start to fully advertise it.
Cool.
Yeah, but it will be LinkedIn and Facebook most probably. Yeah.
Does anyone have any more questions?
Yeah, I've just got one on the importance, or what's important about cultural transition. So an Australian company going to Europe, what are the things that you see come up that need to be sort of handled by those businesses?
Yes. So one first thing is you'll see that Europe is very diverse. So you'll have to be mindful of that. So they're not uniform. And the other thing too, what really did strike me in Australia when I moved in 2006 was a couple of things. First thing, Australians tend to give you a fair go. When I started my business, I had so many meetings. I was like, wow, this business is gonna be enormous. That's great, amazing. Because I was used to doing sales in Europe where you get knocked back. You knock back, and then once you get the meet. Sorry?
I think it might have been your accent.
Yeah, maybe. And then when you get the meeting, you know it's for a real, give you a fair go. So one thing. And the other thing is that people think long term. So you have, it drives my client. In Europe, they think long term. It drives my Australian small businesses nuts. They're like, why in 5 years I need the sales now? So they need to understand that they have to build those long-term relationships for the long term and be very consistent. So if you're doing a conference and it's the right one, it's your target market, then stick to it and go there every year for 3 years minimum. And you will see that the leads you get the first year are going to be so different to the ones you get the third year. Because the third year, somebody's going to say, I've seen you 2 years ago, and I haven't had a chance now. I've seen you've done that and that. I'm coming to talk to you. So it's really about consistency and long-term view. It's a very different perspective.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The other thing I wanted to share with you was a bit of a. So Sammy asked me to share with you a hack on how we do things for our clients. So there's one thing that is really important to us when we work with small businesses is not to burn too much cash too quickly for those small businesses and to get quick results. So the way we do that is we focus on either 1 or 2 countries maximum, preferably just one, and then we decide to focus on just one industry. And then once we've identified which industry is the low-hanging fruit for a business, then we just focus on that industry in one country. And even sometimes we do that with just one multinational. So if we work, because we work a lot in B2B, so we would target one multinational in particular, but then we would really be mapping out this multinational and really conquering this account and really looking after it very well until we get the sales and we build momentum. And that's what we call anchor. You're building your anchor clients. Those clients that are quite influential in the market, they are going to be your advocate in that industry later down the track. And once you build that in one country, that breadth of coverage in one country, then you can easily take it to another European country, because then they all know each other and they will always look at another European reference, and that's how you kind of replicate your success. So I would advise you to do that. Yeah. So that's what we did with one of the clients that where you see the nice curve.
Cool. Any more questions? One last?
Wonderful.
Awesome. That was so great.